Hey guys, I got a new tool in the mail yesterday and this morning we're gonna use it. New sprayer, got it off Amazon for $8. I had one of these last year I bought at the Home Depot and it worked great, but I left it out in the garden over the winter and it got all gunked up. So I had to order another one, which I'm gonna take care of this time. Just a little bit of assembly, so one moment and then we'll go outside. Jeremiah was just observing and I agree, this sprayer is definitely nicer than the other one I got. And it does work, that's right, Ben. There's my helper helping me put it together. You wanna show him how it works? Let's pump it. There's nothing in it right now, but it's... That last one I had, it was something like, if I remember, it's been a year, but I think I paid like $12 or $13 for it for a 1 gallon sprayer. And this one was $8 something on Amazon. So now I'm gonna fill it up with some water and we're gonna mix some organic pest killer. I am about to mix some neem oil diluted in my new sprayer. This is kind of messed up because it's also from last year, but this is what it looks like. I can't tell you how much this costs, something like $9 I think for a bottle, but it's very concentrated. You use an ounce of this to a gallon of water. This is a 16-ounce bottle, so that means it makes 16 gallons. I've got a gallon of water in here. There's still a good bit of room, head space for it to be able to be pressurized. So, I think it's okay. The lid was kind of cracked and it sat outside, but I think it's okay. It smells normal. So I'll put this in here. I'm having a flea beetle problem. They're destroying my eggplants, my ground cherries. They leave like tons of tiny little holes in the foliage of young seedlings. So I did some research and they suggest like sticky traps and like amending your soil and stuff that I can't do the soil amending because everything's already planted. I might get some sticky traps, but they also suggested neem oil for spraying on plants. So that's what I'm doing right now. I also have another mix called Organicide, which the label is all torn off because this is from last year. But it is for organic gardening and it's supposed to help with fungus and insects while not harming pollinators. So I'm going to wait on that. I'm just going to try the neem oil and see how it does. I do things as organically as possible. So natural growing practices, I don't use any sort of chemical pesticides or fungicides. So today it's neem oil directly on the plants and I'm going to sprinkle some diatomaceous earth throughout the soil. Today we're also working on putting up our trellises because we have forecasted storms for the next 3 days. So I'm trying to get the garden in a really good place today. So let's go get to work. It's already mid-80s out here. It's about 9. I'm getting a little bit later of a start than I wanted to, but you know, life, kids, all of that. Okay. Coming up on the garden, some upcoming projects. That door is going to turn into this garden gate, which we're going to do kind of like a trellis. Things can grow over. We're putting up the fence. We are working on the in-ground garden. It's about 2/3 planted. Got some things starting to come up. And today, my hope is to finish planting the raised beds, get the trellises up, and do the last of the mulching. and it's already pretty warm, so I'm hoping we can get this done before it's too miserable to be out here. Normally in the summer, I try to get up early enough and get out early enough. Like already this morning, we've got the goats milked and the feeding done. So I normally try to get those things done really early so I can get out here before it gets too hot. I only have the two goats in milk right now, but once the rest of my girls are in milk, what I'll actually end up doing is the gardening first and then going to do the milk, because it'll take a couple of hours. And so I'll get out here around 6:45 and get everything done in here that needs to be done, and then go milk the goats so that I can be back in the house, you know, around lunchtime. All right, let's give our new sprayer a go. Oh, I have some eggplants over here. You want to do neem oil in the morning or in the evening. You don't want to do it in the heat of the day. Now, ideally, I would have done it earlier today. It still should be fine right now, but you don't want to come out here when the sun is scorching and put oil all over your plants because they'll get sun scalded. Okay, here's one of my eggplants, and we've got some of the culprits on it right now. You can see them, and you see all these tiny holes. Works pretty good. I actually sprayed most of those things off of the plants, but giving it a good coating should keep them off. I'm going to go around, spray all of my plants that I've seen bothered by this, and go ahead and give some of the others just a little precautionary spray, and then we're going to get to work on mulching and trellises. I haven't noticed any pests on my tomato plants this year. They did take a beating from a hailstorm that we had come through, but they've really recovered from that. And at this point, the only thing that I'm seeing they need is a little bit of support, which we're gonna remedy that today, putting up the cattle panel trellises for these rows. Over on that side is the part of the garden that we had last year. And then over on this side is the part that we've added. So it doesn't really have very many trellises yet. We did a video last year about how we used cattle panels for trellises, and we're kind of just extending on that this year and adding a lot more. We absolutely loved it. It's very functional, and they can be reused and reconfigured year after year. These are some pink potted beans that I'm very excited about, and they've got some damage on the leaves, but I can't quite tell if this is from insects or if that was damage from the hailstorm that we had, because they could have gotten broken in that. But I went ahead and gave them a light spray just as a precaution. I have all my cherry tomatoes and grape tomatoes over here on this row. We have not mulched this bed yet because some seedlings were still coming up, but that's on the list to do today. And look, this guy's fallen over. We're gonna have to trellis them today, but look, little tomato babies. It is very exciting. One thing I have been pretty vigilant in doing since planting these tomato plants is going through about every couple of days and pulling off these suckers, which is the little sprouts that come up in the armpits of the plant. This helps the plant focus on setting fruit and not putting its energy into growing a whole bunch more branches. So that's one way to prune. And like, this is just a little plant, but it's already got some little suckers. They grow really fast too, so you have to check them every few days or else they get real big and established. Here, I'll show you this. Here's a sucker that I missed that got real big, and I'm kind of just leaving it and, you know, kind of seeing how it goes right now. I might end up pruning that branch off though. Here's one. This is a new to me plant this year called Borage, and everything I've read about it says that it helps repel tomato hornworms, which we had terribly last year. So I've planted borage all over the garden, specifically in the areas where I have tomatoes. Like I've got a plant going here at the end of this row. I've got them planted throughout the beds that have a lot of tomatoes in it. They are entirely edible plants. The leaves and the flowers are edible, and they're great attractors of pollinators. So I'm excited to give them a try. The jury's still out on whether they help with the hornworms, but I'll be sure to let y'all know if I notice a decline in those this year. Look at these weeds. I didn't have to deal with many weeds last year because these beds were all very new. But this year they're a little more established, and so we've definitely got weeds. Obviously that'll be better whenever we mulch this bed, which we're gonna get done today, and I'm looking forward to that because we've done a lot of weeding already. I'm just walking around, and everywhere that I'm noticing pest damage, I am spraying with the neem oil. Here I've got some young tomatillos that I'm seeing some holes in the leaves, so I'm spraying these. And then these are cucumbers, which I'm seeing some holes in the leaves. My tomatillos over here are getting huge. They've also got a little bit of pest damage, but I'm going to give them a spray. And I'm also trying to decide what else to put in this bed. This is a 4x4 foot bed. Last year I severely crowded my tomatillos, and we ended up getting no fruit because they all fell off before being ripe because they were too crowded. So I was maybe overcompensating just a touch this year. One of the main concerns with pests like flea beetles is that if they come after really young seedlings, they can't survive the damage. Now a larger plant like these giant tomatillos I'm about to spray, they're doing fine, they're still thriving, but I have lost several especially eggplant seedlings this year that I have set out, I've planted, and within a few days their leaves just look like lace. They've been so chewed on, and they die because they can't photosynthesize without leaves. I planted cabbage this year, but it has gotten very hot and it has been very attacked by pests, so I'm not 100% sure how well it's going to go. I'm going to go ahead and give it a spray though. My cool weather stuff down here on the end has largely gone to seed. That's arugula that's bolted. These are baby greens that many of them have bolted. My broccoli bolted, I already pulled it. Which I know many people have all over the place, have had a really crazy year, but we had just really late freezes into the mid to end of April, and then it just got very, very hot quite quickly. So I think these plants don't quite know what to think about it. We've got a pretty nice harvest of peas setting. Let's see here, these are a purple potted pea. And here are some green potted peas, which I'm letting them fill out. You can eat them at this stage as snap peas, but I was trying to let them fill out and harvest the actual peas and not just eating the pods. We've got rainbow chard here, dinosaur kale. These are planted really closely together, so we've been harvesting these as baby greens, and spacing them out so that some of them can get a little bigger. These are carrots, which I'm a little concerned about because it has gotten so hot so fast. I don't want them to get real bitter. We pulled a few yesterday and they were kind of starting to lose their sweetness, so I may go ahead and harvest these small and go ahead and cook them up. More peas, and then down here we're getting into the stuff that we've planted more recently. My helper has come down from breakfast. Ben, what are you doing? You're what? In sharing our farm, one of the questions I probably get asked most is, how do you manage doing any of this with kids? And the answer is you set your expectations low, and you find things that they can do, like just in this right now, and Ben wanting to help with this, I'm thinking, you know, it might be worth it to buy an extra $8 sprayer that the kids could help spray. I don't use chemicals, and so I don't mind handing him this sprayer full of neem oil. I did have to catch him once where he was looking at it, but he understands, you know, and being given the opportunity to spray these things. Hey, don't spray your eyes or you won't be able to do this. And it's just hard, honestly. Doing anything with small children is kind of, it just makes it harder, but it's very rewarding. And I think the ticket is just doing it. You got it, dude. You snuck that here between my arm. It's just doing it, and then allowing them the opportunity to learn, allowing the opportunity to try. Because for a long time I would think, I have to do these things whenever I can leave them inside. I have to do these things whenever they're gonna have some sort of entertainment. And the fact of the matter is, I never got anything done because they always wanted to be where I was. Now my older boys right now, they're still inside eating breakfast. A lot of times we'll do like video game time early in the morning where I can be outside and they can have something to entertain them, because when they are all out, it gets a little hectic sometimes. And then we kind of have our quality time, or we work on things together in the afternoons whenever, you know, it's kind of really warm. So I try to focus on being in the house then. There's one more. Hey Toby, what's up, man?
Mom?
Yeah?
It's okay if I go in the garden pool.
Go in the garden pool. I'll show you one more thing that helps with kids in the garden. This is a trough. It's dirty right now because they were playing in it yesterday. But yeah, I let my kids play in a trough. Ben, tell YouTube how important it is to hydrate. Is it important? Hydrating means drinking water. How important do you think that is?
Important.
Important, especially when it's warm outside.